Hello everyone, my name is Bella Deruvo, and my TED Talk is about the process of Virginia's croutons. Not necessarily the process of making the croutons, but rather the process of how they go from our kitchen to yours. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the history of Virginia's croutons. Virginia's croutons was founded in 1996 by Virginia Davis. Originally, Virginia went to the University of Oregon with an economics major ready to pursue a career. But then when she met her husband, he told her to follow her passion in cooking and begin a crouton business. Virginia's Croutons was born. Virginia's business started to flourish. Eventually, she sold her croutons nationally, but a lot of them are sold in California since she's located out of Oakland. Virginia became very busy between her 3 sons that she later had in life, and then in 2005, her husband suffered from a stroke and she needed to care for him. Virginia couldn't keep up with the business herself, so she decided to reach out to a few of her cooking friends in the area and asked for some help. One of her cooking friends was my boss, and this is where the cool part comes in. My boss actually helps make Virginia's croutons. We just split the orders between ourselves and Virginia. There are only 5 ingredients for creating the perfect croutons. You need sourdough bread, olive oil, canola oil, fresh garlic, and salt. Of course, if you want to make the Parmesan croutons, you just add Parmesan to the top of this mixture. Now, let's dive into the actual process of how the croutons go from our kitchen to yours. The first step in creating croutons is bread. We get our bread from Bordenave in San Rafael. Bordenave has all types of bread: focaccia bread, sourdough rolls, sandwich bread, cinnamon rolls, but the type of bread we want is sourdough baguettes. After you have your bread, you're going to want to take it back to the kitchen and cut it into thin squares like this in perfect shapes for your croutons. After the croutons have been baked in the oven, we put them into these big giant bins and then we let them sit until they are ready to be packaged and scooped. The first step in the packaging process is to create your boxes for shipment. Now, usually we have about 40 boxes per order since we have 25 boxes of regular croutons people order and 15 boxes of Parmesan croutons that people order. After creating the boxes, you're going to want to scale the croutons. Now, the bag of croutons should weigh 5 ounces, and without tearing the scale with the bag, you should have 5.2 ounces on your scale since the bag is 0.2 ounces. You just take the scooper that was seen in the previous picture and you scoop the croutons into the bag and weigh them. After the croutons have been weighed, you're going to want to put them into all of the boxes with as many bags in each box as possible. The next step in this process is to label the bags with an expiration date. You can buy these labels from your local Staples. They're not very hard to set up. All you have to do is input the date onto your computer and print. The next step, which is my personal favorite, is sealing the bags. The heat sealer is pretty easy to operate. All you have to do is plug it into an outlet and seal the bags with the heat on 4. We like to keep the heat on 4 because if it's too hot, the heat will melt the plastic bags. After you've sealed the bags, the next step is to put the bags into boxes. Each box contains 12 bags of croutons. After the box has been sealed with tape, you want to put an expiration date onto the box. Then, Virginia's Croutons has these special stickers. You get to put the sticker on the box and then mark the flavor croutons that are inside the box so that the people at the shop know what they ordered. After all of the boxes have been packaged and sealed, the next step is to get your pallet. You want to get the pallet. You can get it from Peony Hardware or Costco. Usually they're just ready in the trash to be discarded. And then you put your boxes onto the pallet. There's a special way to do this. You go vertical and then horizontal, placing the boxes onto the pallet so that they're equal. Then the next step is to wrap the whole entire pallet in a giant thing of saran wrap so that it is sealed together. After the pallet's been made, the next morning, a man will come in on a forklift and pick up the pallet. He then puts the pallet into a truck and it's on its way to the factory. Once at the distributing factory, the factory counts the boxes that they have and then ships the boxes off to smaller stores so that the product can be sold. Some of the stores that Virginia's Croutons are sold in is Nugget Market and Whole Foods. The final step of this long and tedious process is to purchase the croutons and enjoy them with your family.